Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft map review with Just Another Guy on the Internet. And in today's video we're going to be reviewing the RMS Teutonic made by CreeperCraftCity. And yeah, so here we have another one of my favorite White Star liners. The Teutonic was launched in 1889. And the sister ship to Teutonic, the Majestic, was launched a year later. And yeah, and this is another class of ships that I've come to really like for some reason, not really sure why. It's the same with Cunard's, Umbria class and Campania class. So, not really sure why. I really like these two for some reason. I just really like the shape of them. And yeah, kind of the design as well. Some of the early, White Star Line ships before, ships such as the Olympic class or, even the Big Four. And yeah, you can see that's a, newer model. It's really the only model CreeperCraft has done, and it turned out wonderfully. A lot of detail. Looks really good from all angles. So, and yeah, so I mean, it's not really much else to say other than that. You got a lot of detail, like I said. A lot of rigging. Deck details. Two funnels, and yeah, okay, so yeah, CreeperCraft acknowledged this mistake. There's actually supposed to be 3 masts, not, 2. So, and yeah, lifeboats look good. Yeah. So with that, I guess we can start checking out the interior. So you got a flying bridge design, as you can see, which, really sets it apart from other White Star liners. Very unique, superstructure, And you can also see that the bridge is not covered. It's completely exposed to the elements. Never understood why they didn't add, some type of wheelhouse here. On Majestic, there was a wheelhouse, but on Teutonic, for some reason, there wasn't. So, and yeah, of course, you got the funnels. You got vents, leading down to the boiler rooms, little hatches. And yeah, so right below the bridge is I think this is like the chart room or navigation room. Not really sure. But yeah, so, not much going up here. Just got some open deck space. You got this area kind of fenced off, because there's skylights here, and then this area is for lifeboats. So, skylights, like, there's one that overlooks the main forward first class staircase, one over the lounge, and one over kind of the aft staircase. And yeah, you can see a lot of vents here. The Teutonic and Majestic were kind of built for speed. This was before White Star Line kind of started its whole luxury over speed policy. And the Teutonic Majestic actually won the blue ribbon for the White Star Line. So, pretty fast ships. And yeah, you got skylights over the first class smoke room. You got the engine hatch. So yeah, a lot of detail. Here you have second class. Since the Teutonic and Majestic were actually the first White Star liners to have second class accommodation. So, very interesting. And yeah, so let's go down to the Promenade deck. This is very different from, Majestic. You know, even though they were sister ships, the Teutonic Majestic were actually very different. You know, especially on the actual superstructure part, and you know, like the upper two decks. You know, everything within the hull remained pretty much the same, but yeah, the upper two decks, you know, the Promenade deck and an upper deck, yeah, they were very different. They changed a lot of stuff. So yeah, you got the forecastle with the you know, this curved, you know, deck design or whatever it's called, which many White Star Line ships had during the 1870s and 1880s. Interestingly enough, the Majestic did not have this. It actually had the straight, you know, simple deck design, which would later be adopted into the Oceanic. And over here you have the officers' deck house. You know, as we saw with the Atlantic and the Oceanic class, the officers were down on the forecastle, but they didn't really have their own deck house. It was just kind of there. So in this case, you know, the officers' deck house is down here, and then on Oceanic, it was moved to the boat deck midships. So, you know, a lot of stuff I'm pointing out between Teutonic and Oceanic because pretty much Oceanic was just an upscaled version of the Teutonic class. The Oceanic heavily resembles the Majestic. So again, you know, just taking a design and upscaling and improving it a bit. So yeah, while we're at it, let's check out some of the officers. You know, you got the third officer. You know, pretty simple accommodation here for the officers. You got chief officer, you got some baths, water closets, first officer, you know, pretty much just the same. Nothing too crazy. And you do have the officer's lounge. You know, I think this would also double as, you know, a mess and like a smoke room. It does have a skylight, which is pretty neat. So yeah, pantry and stairs to sea deck. So yeah, actually that leads to first class. So on Oceanic, this was a separate entrance for first class that, you know, first class could use. Here it just leads up to the officers' quarters because, again, this wasn't here on the Oceanic class. The deck house that was here on the Oceanic was, it was a combination of things. There was third class, there was a first class entrance, there was a hospital, there was a little bit of crew areas, but here is the officers, you know, deck house. And you do also have, you know, the plaque here, you know, Harland and Belfast shipbuilders and engineers. Of course, Harland and Wolff, the actual builders of the ship. So yeah, you have the lookout's nest over here. You know, as you can see, there's no actual ladder within the mast. The ladder is outside. So yeah, you know, you got some cargo hatches going on over here. You got some walkways, you know, connecting the actual deck houses, forecastle, superstructure for easy access. And there was actually a good amount of photos taken of Teutonic, you know, on the exterior. There were also a good amount taken on the interior, but during the Spithead Naval Review, there was a lot, which I think is when those photos were taken, there was a lot of photos taken of the exterior. A lot of photos. You know, of this area, of the actual forecastle, on the actual deck, yeah. There's an entire photo album you can check out. But anyways, we spent too much time, you know, talking about other stuff. Let's check out the actual Promenade deck. So at the very front, you do have the captain. And, you know, the deck plans always list, you know, because I have a first class plan, and it does list the captain, you know, within the actual first class area. And there is a staircase that does lead up to, you know, the chart room or navigation room. And you can see on the actual deck plans, it shows like a kind of like a curved staircase. But yeah, you know, no private bath or anything, just one room with a bed, little study area, you know, couch, bookcase. Really nice room. And you got skylights overlooking first class. And yeah, so, this area is covered. You got a little bit of promenade space. And then this is just exposed because of the lifeboat. And yeah, first class entrance. So this is pretty much the main forward first class staircase. And this was also a little bit different from Majestic because Majestic actually had cabins in this area. So this whole area on Majestic looked completely different. So yeah, no cabins here on Teutonic. But you do have the lounge over here. Pretty much just a simple version of the lounge on Oceanic. You can see that everything is just rectangular. The actual shape, the dome over the dining saloon, the skylight. It's a lot more basic, but it's still a very nice room. There was also a photo taken of this room, right about here, I think, because there's the angled walls here. So, you got bookcases, you got plenty of seating, and I like the ceiling design as well. So, pretty nice room. On the deck plans, it lists this room as the library, but really, the library and lounge were pretty much interchangeable terms, so. I mean, even at, on the Olympic class, the library can still be referred to as the lounge, you know. So yeah, main first class staircase, grand staircase, because, you got the two decks here. Got the skylight, got a clock. On the Olympic class, it would actually kind of be here, but just kind of trying to make some comparisons. But yeah, there are also a few photos taken of the staircase from different angles. You can get an idea of what it looked like. And there was actually a photo taken right here of Bruce Ismay when he was younger, before he ended up taking over the company after his father's death, I found that really cool, actually. So yeah, Promenade, deck space. And then back here, you kind of got the aft staircase, but this is actually kind of a mid staircase. There is actually a staircase in the aft section. So, and all that's really up here is a pantry. So yeah, and the staircase leads down to cabins. There's not much going on here because there's the boiler casing. You have the second boiler casing. So, and yeah, this was the area I was talking about. So, back here you actually have cabins. So, first class entrance. And there's just, only four cabins up here. And they're lettered. So as we saw with the Oceanic, all of the staterooms on the promenade deck were lettered. And these ones are as well. So you got A, B, C, and D. Drawing room. Yeah, for some reason on my deck plans it shows a bath and water closet being here. Maybe there were some changes to Teutonic's career, later in her career. So let's just take a look at a stateroom just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Yeah, two people in one room. Pretty much kind of a, suite almost, but not really because there's no private baths or anything. Yeah, here you can see that the skylights to the smoke room kind of cut through here. You got some smaller staterooms here. So yeah, and you also got a staircase that leads down to a hallway with a bunch of cabins and also the smoke room. And you can see that this area kind of did exist on Oceanic, although it was expanded quite a bit. And there was actually also a hallway that kind of connects, what would be this area on Oceanic, which is where there was a kind of also the aft staircase and the cloakroom and such. And this area was a lot bigger and also had a dome. So this is definitely, just look at Teutonic and Oceanic, and you can really see, you know, pretty much just an upscaled and improved design. It's very obvious when you compare those two ships. It's very noticeable. So yeah, you know, you got the engine casing here, you got a ladder leading up to the boats. So yeah, more lifeboats. And this is actually the end of the of first class. You know, past this point it's second class. You know, you got some benches over here. And yeah, it pretty much just wraps around. So yeah, you got more walkways. And you got the second class deck house. You know, with a couple of boats. And you got more walkways leading to third class, so this is third class territory, the poop deck. You know, with the docking bridge. So yeah, this area was a little bit different on Majestic. This was actually covered. So, and then of course on Oceanic we would see this area, you know, being covered as well. Speaking of which, this area is very similar to Oceanic. Very similar. You got the library. You know, in Oceanic you had the skylight. It was a little bit more ornate. There was like a little bookcase here. You know, flooring was a little bit different. And there was no portholes. There was actually, you know, the bigger windows on Oceanic. But yeah, and of course, also on Oceanic was the smoke room. You see here again, you know, on Teutonic and Majestic, it's just the portholes and no domes. So I'm gonna make a lot of references to Oceanic because these two classes of ships were extremely similar. And yeah, you know, got walkways. Yeah, so we're pretty much done with the promenade deck. Let's move down to the upper deck. So yeah, we already checked out the officers' quarters. Forward, you got third class entrances. So, you know, for single men and stuff. So, you know, something that carried on from the Oceanic class. Let's see, hospital, crew only. So yeah, fireman staircase, which you see on, interestingly, this was not here on Oceanic because the firemen were kind of grouped more towards the, or actually, no, hang on. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there was an actual, like, fireman staircase, like, in the bow on Oceanic. You know, you see it on the Olympic class. But not really on the Oceanic class. So, yeah. We got the superstructure. So yeah, this is, all first class. So yeah, you know, you got the lower level of the staircase. Again, some photos were taken here. You got the purser's office right behind it, or actually, in this case, whatever way you look at it, it's actually forward. So yeah, and on the upper deck, the cabins were also lettered as well. So, so all of these cabins were lettered from. So up on the promenade deck, you had A to D, so these would be E to W. So yeah, and you got, you know, some more of, you know, the nicest staterooms on the ship. Some of them are, you know, really nice sized cabins, very luxurious. Again, no private baths or even shared baths. You just have the communal baths here. Yeah, and toilets. So, on Oceanic there were a couple, but here on Teutonic, yeah, it wasn't. On Majestic there were a little bit on the promenade deck, you know, some shared staterooms. And you can see the flooring is also different than what you see on Oceanic. So different color scheme. It's kind of a zigzag kind of flooring, you know, if you look at the photos. So yeah, you have the dome for the actual dining saloon here. Now you got some more, just cabins. Yeah. And yeah, this area also, was on Oceanic. It was just expanded a bit. It's very similar. Very similar. In more ways than you might think. And yeah, got some baths. And yeah, the bathroom floor is different than what I see on, an Oceanic or the Olympic class or Big Four. Yeah, just more cabins. And over here is the barber shop. Yeah, so this was here on Oceanic, roughly. There was also the purser's office, but as you can see, it's actually over there. So yeah, you got the bar. Also here in Oceanic, you got this staircase, which I don't think was here in Oceanic. No, having a little bit of a brain fart. Sorry. So yeah, but you do have the smoke room, which was here in Oceanic, and you can see it's very similar color scheme. And it's also got 2 skylights. So yeah, I mean, just very similar, And of course, you got the stained glass windows, bunch of paintings. And yeah, there were some photos taken of this room as well. I know of at least 3 that were taken. And there was also a photo taken of one of the staterooms on Teutonic, but I don't know which one it was. But yeah, you got staircases and all. Vents. Just not really sure why there were vents here. I mean, they don't really serve any purpose than just to provide some light and air, I guess. So yeah, you got the stairs that lead up to those staterooms. Crew only. So yeah, like on Oceanic, this is where the engineers were, except it's a little bit smaller and more cramped. Yeah, you got the engine casing. Lavatory. Yeah, pretty much get the idea here. Pretty basic. And you got the chief engineer, who actually does kind of, get a private bath and sitting room, so that's cool. Engineer's mess. So yeah, just engineers. You got some, barriers to separate second class from ND engineers, and also another one, as you can see right over there, to separate first class and engineers. And there's also kind of this room right here. I'm not really sure what it is because on the deck plans that I have, this area, it does show this area, but it's blank. So it shows the actual outline of the rooms, but it's blank. So it's just some type of area for engineers here, and then also to provide access to the boiler room. So yeah, you can also notice that the Promenade is also a little bit more narrow than in the Oceanic class. So, ladders, walkways, cargo hatches, I guess just kind of supports for the cargo cranes. Back in second class, so yeah, this was completely different on Oceanic because on Oceanic you had cabins. Here is actually where the dining saloon was. So, really small dining saloon because there weren't too many second class passengers to begin with. So, you got a piano and stuff. I'm assuming the decor of this room is correct because I don't think, yeah, there aren't any photos taken of second class on Teutonic that I'm aware of. So yeah, and up here you also have the pantry and lavatory. And then down on the saloon deck is all cabins for second class. All cabins. More barrier gates to separate second class from third class. And yeah, so of course, at the stern you have third class. So yeah, third class entrance. I don't have a deck plan of third class. So again, I'm just going to go off with, what he has here. Assuming that it's correct. So here you have the general room. And on the other side you have the smoke room with an access to the steering engine. And you'll notice that this is pretty much just the same as the Olympic class. This is very similar, because on the Olympic class you do also have the smoke room on this side, and the general room here with the steering engine, and kind of, the stairs that lead down to, the third class accommodation. So again, it's just, smaller here and more cramped. So yeah. And but on Oceanic it actually was a little bit different, which is interesting. You did have the general room, but no smoke room. And there was also like these dining rooms at the sides. So again, just taking a design and upscaling and improving it a bit. I cannot stress that enough. That's pretty much all it was. So now we have the saloon deck. Actually, let's start with first class. I think that'll be a little bit easier. So yeah, you can see you got a different, wall pattern here going on down here than, on the upper two decks for the main staircase. So yeah, C deck, or saloon deck, whichever you prefer. So yeah, you have the entrance to the dining saloon, and then just forward of that is all cabins. And yes, these are numbered. So down on the saloon deck and the main deck, these are, numbered. And, you have standard, first class cabins. Still very nice. With one or two berths. So yeah, pretty much, give you an idea. And I do like the wallpaper here. Really like it. Yeah, you see there's no portholes at the end of the hallways because of some of the way the cabins are shaped. Very interesting. And yeah, you have another staircase here. On Oceanic, this was also here. Kind of a second staircase within the accommodation on the lower two decks. So very interesting design here. And yeah, so just more cabins. Yeah, you pretty much get it. Very, basic. These would be, cheaper than, some of the rooms on the upper and promenade deck. So yeah, crew only. So yeah, this is where it goes from the officer's mess. Stewardesses, yep. And some lavatories and, more cabins. And yeah, so this is third class. Very similar to Oceanic, yeah. Except they're not connected. There was kind of a little door, connecting them. Emergency exit. Basic, third class cabins. You got the staircase, which, leads up from the entrance up on the upper deck. Smoke room. So there's two smoke rooms? That's interesting. Water closet. Yeah. That's very interesting, actually. And then, yeah, so you have the fireman staircase that comes down. You got, water closets and wash places for the crew. Some anchor machinery. And then down on the main deck, yeah, you just have pretty much the same. Kind of something that you see on the Oceanic class, which is, the two decks within the hull, within the watertight compartments, it's pretty much the same thing going on. So yeah, like within this watertight bulkhead, you would have third class, if that makes sense. And you do have some dormitories. So, something that you see, from the Oceanic class all the way to the Olympic class, you have these dormitories, for the single men at least. And yeah, fireman's staircase. You know, you got some greasers and leading firemen, yeah. And this leads down to the fireman's passage. We'll be getting to that at the end of the video. So yeah, just, you know, dormitories. Okay, so this here is some type of cargo space. And this is the post office. So it is RMS. Yeah, got kind of a space for sorting mails. I'm guessing that this is the actual mail room, and then this is the post office. Not sure. This area is blank on the deck plans. Because over here you have actually first class accommodation down on the main deck. So you can see it's very simple, just bare white walls, very basic first class cabins. So yeah, and this is where the staircases come down. You know, they're separate because you got the kind of the boiler areas here. Yeah. So yeah, just first class cabins with 4 berths here this time around. And yeah, there you go. So yeah, and you know, this is the main staircase. It comes down here. You can see that it's zigzag, so it goes that direction and this direction, and finally, you know, that direction. Something that you see on the Celtic or Celtic of the Big Four. It kind of had the same thing going on there. So yeah, here's the dining saloon. There were a bunch of photos taken of this room, and I love the dome. You know, the Oceanic also had the dome with the skylight here. But interestingly, on Majestic, the dome was actually covered up, so you couldn't actually see the actual lounge. It was covered up. You know, there was a floor here, so which is very interesting. Don't know why they did that. It's such a random choice. It's really random. But yeah, you know, dining saloon, very nice. And then you kind of got this companionway here. Yeah, this is for the, you know, aft staircase. It also zigzags, as you can see. And along this side, you got cabins, you know, typical, standard, first-class cabins. You know, single beds, some have 2, you know, 2 berths. You know, in Oceanic, there was the one, you know, staircase kind of leading down from the upper deck, you know, with that hallway branching off the smoke room. You see that it's not here on Teutonic. And yeah, so this is actually the end of first class on the saloon deck. Past this point, it's second class. So yeah. You know, of course, this is something that you do see on the Olympic class. You have, you know, kind of the cabins alongside on the starboard side, and then on the port side, there's some crew areas. But yeah, and then this is leading into second class. So you can see it's very similar not only to, you know, Oceanic, but Olympic class, like I said. You know, and then on Olympic class, this would be second class. Of course, it's definitely here on Teutonic very much scaled down. You know. You know, kind of similar color schemes to first class, as you can see. So yeah, this is all correct. You know, I got the deck plans for this, so this all looks really good. Again, no photos, so, of second class that I know of. And this is where the staircase from the dining saloon comes down to. A little window there. Nice. And then, yeah, back here you got third class. So, pretty much the same as we saw in the forward section. You know, you got staircase coming down from the entrance. And rooms at the very, very back. Again, you also see this on the Olympic class. It's definitely much more expanded there than here. And then you got a smaller staircase because there's less, traffic, less passengers coming down here than up there. You got twice as many passengers coming down this staircase because you got these cabins, and then, down here you have a smaller number. 2 berth? I would imagine these would be 4, no? I would assume they would just cramp as many third-class passengers as they can into a room. Single berth third-class accommodation? That's very interesting. I've never seen that before. And then, yeah, you got steerage, dormitories. And then, so below second class, there's some food storage areas, fish, eggs, milk and butter, wine and champagne. Just, food storage areas that lead up from the crew area. So this is actually, yeah, this is the first class galley and first class pantry. And these areas, connect to this companionway off the dining saloon. Something that you see on the Germanic, kind of the galley area here, in more or less the same spot. Stairs to B deck, so yeah, this goes up to the, area off the smoke room. This was also here in Oceanic. And you got stairs leading down to some crew accommodation, plate washers, cooks, kind of the more galley, areas. Bakers, chef. Basically kind of Scotland Road, that you see on the Olympic class. You got even got entrances to boiler rooms like you see there. So yeah, lavatory. So yeah. This is all correct. I'm not sure what it looked like. Again, the first class deck plans do show like the outline of like these spaces, but it doesn't like label them. So like you have no idea that this is like, scullery, for example. Butcher, baker shop, confectionery. So yeah, anything that you need, stuff you would find in a galley and pantry. Vegetables. Potatoes. Second and third storage, so yeah, just crew areas. And this staircase leads up to the engineers. Of course, you got the engine casing running through here. It gets bigger the deeper you go down, so it kind of like widens, entrances to engineers. And yeah, and this is actually a door that leads to second class. So yeah, like I said, this was food storage. And down here, yeah, more food storage areas. You got the meat hold, which, isn't separated, eastbound and westbound beef. Ice room, so yeah, ice, fruit room, meat room. Unfortunately, no empties. I'm very disappointed. So I think that's it, right? I mean, there's really not much else up here. Oh yeah, and you also got crew here. So this is kind of part of the first class staircase, but not really because this is actually crew. I imagine there would be some type of barrier here, just to, not have passengers coming down here because this is all crew space. So it's very similar to Oceanic, as you can see. The crew areas down here. It's very similar. There's no point even in checking those out. So that's it for the actual passenger accommodation and such. So now we can go down to the orlop deck. You got you know, cargo holds, you know, the fireman's staircase comes down, you know, water tank, very interesting cargo hatches here. So yeah, you got the fireman's passage here. It's very long. Yeah, definitely takes a while. And it would probably also be a barrier here, you know, so you have, you know, the men going on shift, you know, going this way, and the men leaving, you know, done with their shift going this way, as you see of other ships. And yeah, you got the boiler rooms, you know, similar to Oceanic and Olympic class. So, you know, you got catwalks, escape ladders, you know, leading all the way up to the boats. Very convenient. Got boilers, you got coal bunkers. Where are they? Right here. Yep. And yeah, so you got 2 boiler rooms per funnel, and then you got these like you know, shorter little hallway connecting, you know, the other two or the other funnel. So yeah. You got uptakes, and then you got the engine rooms. And yep, you have the bulkhead, you know, kind of separating it into 2 rooms, really. There's no photos of the engine room that I'm aware of. I know there was an illustration, like, showing the actual engine room, like, right here somewhere. I think this is, like, the heater, because on the Olympic class, there's also, like, some type of heater. Don't quote me on that, because, like I've mentioned in an earlier video, I'm not the biggest expert. You know, I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to the actual technical and engineering portions of these ships. I'm definitely going to try to, you know, work on that. So, but yeah, you got propeller shafts. There's 2, you know, twin screw propellers. Refrigerator engine. So, you know, got no idea of how accurate this is because I have no plans of these areas at all. Oh, and we're back in the meat room. So then what's... Alright, so it looks like it's only really... Oh, and then... Okay, so this is actually... Oh, okay, I gotcha. That's really it. There's really not much else I want to comment on about that. So yeah, and you can also see, forgot to mention the stern is very interesting design here with the kind of gold plaque, you know. The Britannic and Germanic also had this as well. So, you know, because the Teutonic class was pretty much, you know, the next big thing to come after the Britannic class. Because, well, you know, there were other ships that came, you know, you know, after Britannic and Germanic. But they weren't really, you know, like, really how to explain it. Kind of, you know, kind of bigger, I would guess. You know, there were ships like the Coptic and stuff, which you can definitely see a lot of some similar stuff to some of those ships. You know, like the Coptic and the Doric, because you know they had this whole area here as well. It was the first class was very similar. It was kind of a step up from the you know, Oceanic and Britannic class. And yeah, so there you guys go. There is the Teutonic, one of my favorite White Star liners. I definitely have a soft spot for this class of ships. And I definitely will also review the Majestic just to kind of, you know, go over the differences between Teutonic and Majestic. You know, I do have a good amount of information about these ships. Definitely spent a lot of time researching them. So, and yeah, that was definitely a lot to go over. There was a lot of stuff I wanted to mention. And yeah, but you know, as for the actual, you know, build, very good. Turned out wonderfully. definitely CreeperCraft did do a good job on this. And of course, he also did make the Majestic, which I will be reviewing sometime in the future. And yeah, so overall, a very good ship, I must say. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next Minecraft map review.